back to Life as BCC.
Hi, my name is Ruth.
And I am Lydia. In today's episode, we are starting a new series which we are calling Dear Newlyweds. Might be thinking, what is that? Well, we have noted a few messages that are posted on social media where newlyweds are posting questions or situations that have to deal with, having difficult conversations, of which today we are going to actually pose a few points on how to address some difficult conversations.
Oh, wonderful. So in today's episode, we're talking about different things. We're talking about personal hygiene, sexual intimacy, and addressing bad habits. But the first point when it comes to addressing these difficult conversations that's to be said is the importance of friendship. Because when you've just married your spouse, your husband or you have a husband or you have a wife, to be able to have these difficult conversations, it is easier when they're your friend. You can be open, you can be honest, and also when someone is your friend, you probably know how they're likely to take certain things. It's not guaranteed, of course, but then maybe it's easier for you to approach certain situations and you're more comfortable with your friends. And because you love your friends, like if I had a best friend or, who had bad breath, for example, it'll be easier for me to talk to them about something like that because I don't want them going out there and, having these personal, issues. So I think friendship is really important. Do you have anything about friendship you wanted to add?
I think, probably people might be thinking, oh, we have dated for this long or courted for this long, so we've built a friendship. But one thing you realize is the friendship that you have when you're courting, living separately and seeing each other probably once a week or whatever times a week or month, is that you do not create that much of a friendship as when you're in marriage, because you begin to see the real person presented before you. So you now have to be intentional about creating, building up. Obviously it becomes easier because you've already been friends, but now you begin to build up on that friendship.
You've got a foundation and now you're learning, and you have to understand this is a journey. You haven't arrived. When you're married, you have not arrived. It's just the starting of your journey. It's a marathon. It's a long journey of life. So that leads us quite nicely actually to our first point, which is personal hygiene. This one can be tough if your friend has bad breath, or if your friend just maybe they're smelling of sweat, or they're not bathing as frequently as you would like them to, or maybe they used to bath before they come to meet you, but now you're in that.
She's beautiful, she smells so good, and then when she's home you're just thinking
So how do you deal with that? How do you address that?
Well, I think, obviously we've addressed the friendship part, and we need to acknowledge that this is sensitive. The thing is, coming up with strategies, because some people, let's say, investing in flavored chewing gum or mouth spray chewing gum, where I have one in my handbag, and there's one where we just keep in the cupboards in the kitchen where someone can easily feel free. Sometimes, when you begin to create a friendship and somebody wants a kiss, you can just be like, chew some gum first. That's the code. When you hear chew some gum first, then the situation is not okay.
For each other.
So, and you make a joke out of it. Make it light. I think probably it would be when you say, oh, let's have a talk, or I want to talk to you about something, and then you say, you know what, you make it so formal. Somebody might be scared. Oh, you're not smelling very well, so probably, but just being intentional, finding ways. So it could be chewing gum, investing in spray, on your budget. You make it intentional for somebody to have maybe a bottle of perfume or having spray, and if you want to have a moment where you just cuddle, you can say, oh, probably we have a shower first. And then start the process. So you create a process where you're doing things together. But even if you're, not doing anything together, but just telling them okay, you know what? It's really hot. Like, you could do with another.
But those are codes, which I guess some people will respond more to. But then there are other people, they don't pick up those signs. And so being comfortable enough to say, I know you said, oh, maybe they'll think it's quite serious. But I think it's okay to also say, you know what, either way, you need to communicate.
Yeah.
How you communicate is dependent on the person or the situation. But you can just generally say, babe, your breath smells. And there should also be, and I think the person receiving it, as hard as it is for someone to tell me that my breath smells, I also have to understand what is the implication of that on my partner. Like, yes, we want to be intimate, I want to kiss them, but I don't want to give them, they're not going to want to be comfortable with me. So they're not, that person loves me, they're not going to be saying it out of hate or spite. If you need to have a serious conversation, we need to sit down. This showering twice a week,
it's not working.
It's not
Twice a week. There's people
who, everybody has different thresholds. You thought showering every day, but if you didn't meet your partner or your boyfriend or your girlfriend maybe twice, on a Saturday, that's the day that they showered. So they were smelling fine.
Yeah.
And now you're living together, you're finding out this person does not shower every day. But the important thing is having a conversation with them and saying, look, and yeah, you're right, being sensitive towards it, because they may not, it will hurt their feelings. It's something that's like, you don't want people to tell you smell,
touchy.
But you need to say it. But going on social media and saying, oh, it's okay if you need to ask for advice, but I always say go to each other first and see how best do we address this.
It's just important, like in the first few years of your marriage, creating an atmosphere where you can actually talk.
Yeah.
And being ready with the fact that somebody might not take it well.
Yes.
Because sometimes we're thinking, oh, I just thought, I just said, so they were supposed to be okay with it.
Yeah.
No, be comfortable with the fact that,
actually,
they might not be happy and they will be upset or they will be annoyed, but
over time. You will learn each other. Exactly. What's another example of difficult conversations that newlyweds might have? Sexual intimacy.
Hear people complain about not being sexually satisfied due to various reasons. I think it's establishing what's causing it first. Like, why aren't you getting satisfied? Because why I'm saying establishing is that when you come out to the world and say, oh, he's not satisfying me or she's not satisfying me, and people go about all their assumptions and all that, there could be an underlying problem that needs to be addressed by a professional.
Absolutely. That is so true.
That establishing what is causing you not to be sexually satisfied, and also realizing that this is a sensitive area, not just for men but for women. Everybody in that, let me just say, we all have egos.
We do.
And that's one of the ways where your ego can be really bruised, because for some people, people have different personalities. There are people who, if they were told something, they're like, I want to be better at it, so I'm gonna do everything it takes. And then there are some people who would go in the shell and just think,
it literally draws them back and they withdraw.
I'm just like, I thought I was putting in my very best, and then somebody just trashes it. You know what? I might as well not do it. And someone might lose interest. So from now, there's such a satisfaction of where you are doing it, and then it's just not right. It now goes to the extreme lack of satisfaction where you're actually not even doing it.
Happening. It's so true. And I think what you said at the beginning, saying what's causing it, is it your expectations? Is it the fact that somebody said you're supposed to have sex for 3 hours, and you're like, no, it's only 10 minutes.
10 minutes, we're done.
5 minutes and we're done. I thought this thing was supposed to happen on night. I thought we're supposed to go 3 rounds. Like, what is why are you not satisfied? It's not true. Is it that your expectation, what you thought, is not matching up with what's happening, and is what you thought correct? Because it might actually be like, no,
that's so true.
The average time that it takes to have sex, it may not actually be what you think it is. Might be much shorter than what you expect it to be, and therefore you're not satisfied, not because your partner is not satisfying you, but you're not satisfying your expectations. And so you need to understand why. And like you said, it could be an underlying condition, or it could be a medical condition where someone just doesn't have the desire, for example, and you're out there thinking it's about you. Actually, there might be a much bigger issue to deal with here than the fact that they're just not satisfying you. And the other thing I wanted to say was, it's a journey. It's literally a journey, and you are on this
Forever
journey
is too
together.
long.
The two of you, like nobody else is there. So when you're not sure about these things, talking to each other is the easiest way I can say, babe, I like it this way. I think no, let's try that. No, let's try this. You don't need to. Yes, you can ask people, like you said. There are gonna be times where you need to ask people.
Yeah, because it's just like way beyond you.
Exactly. But then at the beginning, try your best to explore and understand each other. You're gonna be understanding your bodies. You're gonna be understanding his body, her body. Take your time. It's a journey. Like the best sex you're gonna have. Well, I don't think the best sex you're gonna have is the first sex that you're gonna have. It's going to be over time as you learn what each and every what the other person likes, and you learn to satisfy each other. It's a different journey for each couple, which is why it's really difficult when you're asking for advice from multiple sources, because your journey is your journey.
It's your journey. It's like it's different. Okay, and also maybe probably you've highlighted on it, you know, like affirming what you like. Okay, if you've had a good session, just on another day, probably not in the moment, because in the moment, like, everybody's just excited, you know. There isn't so much to get someone excited in the moment. People are just happy, you know. Affirming to say, this is something that I like,
really enjoyed,
because you know what, it's you feel good when your ego is boosted in the right way. Okay, so you affirm when something is good. Don't just be, I think where probably it might even be a problem if you're always saying, oh, you're not satisfying me, or this is bad. Like, for you everything is bad, and probably we could say that maybe everything could be bad, but you know, trying to analyze the situation and say, you know what, probably you could say, oh, I do like the foreplay, like the way we start, it's really beautiful, but it's at this point where I think, you know, we need, and it's always about we, you know, that is something that you're doing, the two of you. So you don't go to a person and say, you are, the moment a person feels attacked in any situation, when you just go you, they feel attacked, and when you feel attacked, your initial reaction is defense. I'm just like, no, I am not taking this, so defense. It's like the body also knows when you're being attacked, defense. So when you go to your spouse to have this conversation, it's about how can we get things better, how can we do this, and even just, you know, I mean, there are some people who get reading and everything. You'll be like, oh, you know what? I actually read this. So I was thinking we could try out this, or we could do that. You know, try different things. Like you said, you're together. Explore.
Make that salad together. Like, it's up to you what you do, what you put in that salad, and how you cook it, what spices you put. It's not up to anybody else but the two of you. But the two of you need to communicate so you have a good meal.
Yeah. That's a nice way of starting out. Put everything and to make a good meal.
Exactly.
It is a meal.
It is.
Okay, Ruth.
For the next one. Another difficult conversation people might find is relating to bad habits. Give me an example of some bad habits.
Bad habits, some of them could be like, you know, people who leave empty tins. You know, people, it's about to finish. Sometimes it's like juice, you're waiting who is going to be the last person. You even know that this one you're supposed to finish it. You take a bit, then you leave a little bit, like the next person should be the one to throw it. Or it's finished, you put it back in the fridge, or put the bottle back in the cupboard. You're thinking,
but why did you put the empty one in there?
Finished.
But
like,
you know what, people do that.
Throw it away.
People do that.
It needs to go in the bin.
Oh, and then in the bin you see that if you're the one who's gonna put the bottle, you're the one who should put the bin in the bin outside. I'm the one, not that one.
Yeah, that one.
I hate putting the bins out. So if my trash is the last one to go in, I really need to think about whether that trash needs to go in the bin.
You're like, no, probably not. It's not yet time.
Because you know the bin can be overflowing. So you know if you put that empty bottle in there, but then I won't leave the empty bottle in the fridge. I just have to really think about whether I need to drink that milk or juice. Another
habit is leaving your things everywhere. You know, like I would come back from work. Obviously, I am a changed woman. I am a changed woman. Please.
Oh, go on. Tell them, Lydia, what you do.
Come back from work. You know, you're tired and you're thinking, oh, oh, sofa first. Probably doesn't even help that the first landing place is the sitting room. Probably if it was another room, but no. Let me not even.
Don't blame the room. Tell them.
Come back. You put your handbag, shoes, jacket off, sofa. Then you're like, oh, I feel better. Kitchen, glass of water.
Go to the bedroom.
Go to the bedroom.
Let go.
And my husband is just timing me. He's like, okay. So you've gone to the bedroom, huh? Where's that handbag supposed to be? Oh, bless. And I'm just like,
you put us through a lot.
Don't worry. I'm gonna take them. He's like, okay. And then one day it's just like, no. I think this don't worry is not working. Just pick your bag.
When you arrive, you know what? It's when Lydia talks about this, it's such a good example because I'm the opposite.
Yeah.
So then it's like if we were married, for example, like if I come home from work, I want to see cleanness.
Yeah.
So when I enter, and let's say Lydia is my husband, she's entered first, and I see her shoes in the hallway. Whew, pressure.
Why are you making examples of me? You've got your own husband for yourself.
No, I'm saying imagine Lydia is my husband, right? And my husband has those bad habits that Lydia has. So you now walk in. You find Lydia has dropped it. Why are you smiling? Lydia has left her bag in the living room. You go up. You find something else. That to me is stressful. That to me is for you. You're comfortable, and that's
like I'm home. That's one of the reasons
bad habit that's affecting your partner. So for me, you're relaxed. I wouldn't be relaxed as I enter based on what you've done to make yourself relax.
Yeah, I think thanks to Corona, obviously. With the places where we work, working in a hospital, probably most of us are doing it, is that when we arrive home, straight, your journey is very focused. You have to go and drop things. You don't sit anywhere, you don't touch anything. It's
shower,
straight, you go everything down, shower, and then life begins.
No, it's
but
true.
I think even before, probably it's knowing how it affects your partner.
Yeah, and that's my point.
Because sometimes people answer with the thing of, oh, I've always been like this, so how come you're finding it a problem? I don't think that would be the right way of addressing it. Because when you love somebody, you want the best for them. You want them to be happy. So when you find that your spouse has a problem, with what you are doing, begin to work on it. I think answering like, oh, I've always behaved like this, or it's always been okay, I don't know why you're finding it a problem, can stir up a lot of trouble. So begin to work on it. And what I do is, when I arrive, even before Corona, what I used to do, straight to the bedroom, drop things where they need to be, put the dancing things where they need to be. And because your friend is now more relaxed and they are happier that way than, you're coming, like for instance, I can literally picture you entering and you're breathing down.
Once you go upstairs and you just want to come home and you want to relax, and your friend has just done the complete opposite to what makes you relax. And it's true. How do you address the bad habits? By understanding how it might affect your partner. It's not, it might not be related. That's just an example of a bad habit. It might be a different bad habit. It might be you leave in a can, like you said an empty can, but what does that cause to your partner, and how can you help your partner? But your partner also needs to have a level of grace as well, because if it's a bad habit, it's something you've been doing for a long time. So as a newlywed, you'll just be married for a few days, a few weeks, a few months,
your temper is flying all over the place.
You can't expect somebody to change just like that. So you need to find ways to communicate with them. So it's really important to be gracious, because you can't just expect somebody to just change like that when they've been doing something for so many years, and you guys have just been newly married. You've been married for a few weeks, a few days, a few months, a few years. So for me, I used to be very naggy. So I used to be like, oh my gosh, you've done it again. Or like, my attitude towards it, I'll be so angry, and that anger will come out in how I say it. So for me, I'm learning to be more gracious, and also in my attitude being gracious. So saying, oh babe, you forgot to do this, can you please do that? And also finding other ways of, if
having washing baskets
in every room.
Like guys, before you enter the sitting room,
there's
washing
one.
basket.
You can throw whatever you find in there. There's another box somewhere where you can put things. But definitely being gracious, because then he's more receptive than me argue or just saying it in a negative way or shouting or raising my voice in some way or just because then he wants to argue. Like you said, as a person, we can be very defensive. So if I bring it to him in such a manner, his automatic response will be defense rather than him accepting it in a nicer way to think about ways he can change.
Yeah, I think, what you've talked about being gracious, it's just realizing that what might be easy for me might not be that easy for the next person, and it's the same amount of graciousness that you want to be exercised towards you, exercise it towards your spouse, because sometimes you might find that, oh, you know what, I'm being gracious. And for example, there are actually, maybe we should point it out, that there are actually some bad habits that will never go.
Oh yes, I'm sorry, I'm still working on some of mine.
You will have to live with them. And probably like for us, it's just being gracious, and that's really, maybe you just do it on the wrong day.
My husband,
but they're just things where my husband will just be like,
he's really gracious. He's much more gracious than me, absolutely, when it comes to my bad habits. But on a bad day, maybe especially if you've done something that you're not, like maybe he's done something and I'm not being gracious towards him, and then on that day I do something, is that, look, if it was you, look at how you would.
Exactly. So it becomes like, it's attacking, because the thing is, when you are addressing a situation, with a friend, and we are thinking, oh, you know what, you should do this thing, you should do this right, you should do it like this, like that. Sometimes it might come out as though I'm perfect.
Yeah, definitely.
And the thing is, when you are coming out as perfect, is that when you do something wrong, people won't be willing to correct you. It will be like, hey,
you see?
Because, and this is something like I noted it at work, where everyone is just like, no, you people should be like this, like this. People won't cover you when it's your turn, because you have stood out like the perfect person. And even in a marriage, when you stand out like a perfect person, it will always be an attack on you, because you have created the standard. The standard should be there. So when you do things, people just be like, you were supposed to do better.
Exactly.
So,
and remember, you're a team. The whole purpose of this is you're a team. So learn to communicate with each other. Learn to find ways to joke about certain things, but be very careful.
As we are picking those pairs of socks, even laughing, he's done it again.
Babe, look at this.
You're taking the handbag back, she's done it again. You just take it back.
It's so funny, because sometimes my husband will imitate some of the things that I do like me, and then I'll do the same thing as him, and we'll just end up laughing about it. But honestly, try and find ways to, you gotta live together, you love each other, you've gotten married to each other, and there gotta be some difficult conversations to have, but you need to have them. That's how you grow, that's how you build your marriage, and that's how you help each other.
Oh, that was nice. It's like we could go on.
We could. I was like, we need to summarize. So that's one topic in this Newlyweds series. We'll see you next time when we talk about getting along with in-laws.
Hey.